Hello and welcome to West Country Wanderings. In fact, welcome to my December vlog. Now, if you're not familiar with the vlog format that I do, each month I come to a certain location in the West Country Wanderings region that I cover, and I tell you a bit about the location that I'm in, a little bit about the characters from the area, and we'll have a look at the landscape and the architecture. And then I'll tell you a little bit about my channel, what's been happening over the past few weeks and what's going to be coming up on my channel going forward. So where are we today? Well, today I thought we'd come to the county of Wiltshire. Now, Wiltshire is only a county I've been to once before on my channel, so I've been a little bit neglecting this county here. And so we're in Wiltshire, and I just thought, first of all, before I tell you where I am in Wiltshire, I'll tell you about where the name Wiltshire comes from. Now, if you think of counties like Gloucestershire, Worcestershire, Herefordshire, in fact other counties outside the area that I cover like Derbyshire, Leicestershire, you've got the main place name, like for example Worcester, Gloucester, and also you've got, so in those counties you've got obviously a cathedral city and the Shire at the end of it. So how does that work in Wiltshire? Surely there's no place in Wiltshire called Wilt. Well, no, there isn't. But Wiltshire is actually named after the original county town of Wiltshire, which was a place called Wilton. In fact, it still exists, and it's famous for carpets. Now, Wilton was gradually absorbed by its much bigger neighbour Salisbury, which I'm sure you've heard of. It has a huge spire cathedral. I'm sure we'll be visiting that place at some point here on West Country Wanderings. Salisbury came to dominate Wilton, so Wilton is now in effect a kind of a suburb of Salisbury, and Salisbury became the county town, or indeed city. But of course Wilton, because it was the foremost place in Wiltshire, that's how Wiltshire got its name. So it comes from the town of Wiltshire. So where are we today in Wiltshire? We're actually at a village called Minty, M-I-N-E-T-Y. Now Minty is divided into two parts. There's Upper Minty, which is where I am at the moment. I'm currently near the church. You can always rely on a churchyard for a good seat, which is great. Somewhere to park my car as well. And also there's Lower Minty. Now, Lower Minty expanded greatly with the coming of the railway. In fact, it sits on what's called the Golden Valley line, the line that runs between Gloucester and Swindon. It used to have a station. We'll perhaps go down to have a look at that area in a bit. But Upper Minty is still very, very much rural. It's very, very quiet. So you're probably thinking, how Minty? Now, that's a strange name for a village. How did it get its name? Well, it's this. Yes, I've actually just scrambled into a ditch to get this. This is the Watermint, and there are lots of ditches that line the country lanes around here in Minty, and it's because of this plant, the Watermint, that Minty took its name. It's very abundant, and I literally just walked. I thought, oh, I'm going to have trouble finding it in December. I literally walked around the corner from the churchyard. The first ditch I found, there was some growing. In fact, it's even in flower there. I'll do a close-up of that. So it comes from the Latin genus Lamincea, and the Latin name for the plant itself, as you won't be surprised to know, it's Acrea mintea, literally meaning water mint. And if you just rub the leaves, it does smell a bit minty, although it's not as strong as the ordinary garden mint that perhaps you might be more familiar with. We've had a couple of storms over the past couple of weeks here in December. I think we had Storm Arwen. That was the first one in the first week of December, and we've just had Storm Barra, which was day before yesterday, and still quite rainy and wet. Not great for filming yesterday. Now I've come here to Minty, so we're running into the second week in December now, and we have sun is out and blue skies. It's cold, of course. It's only about 5 degrees, but it's dry. It's hardly any wind at all. And for photography, that's an absolutely stunning combination at this time of the year, because also you've got the low angle of the sun, which means you can get great shadow shots with the light playing across the landscape, which is terrific. Now, I usually mention if there's any celebrities living in the villages that I go to, and yes, we have another celebrity that lives in this village. I don't know where. Some of you younger subscribers won't know who on earth this is. But if you, like me, from the generation that followed music avidly in the 70s and 80s, you'll very much know who this person is. And I thought he was living in Scotland because this particular gentleman bought an island off Scotland many years ago. I think that was back in the 80s. And I'm sure he became like not the Baron, there is a Scottish word if you kind of baird, I think it is. Or perhaps, yeah, baird, I think that's the right term. I'll put that in below. Of the island, because he bought it, he owned the entire island and also some of the cottages that were on it, which is a little bit controversial because he didn't have any direct connections. But I now understand, well, certainly from Wikipedia, if Wikipedia is to believe, I'm not sure if it's 100% correct, but I think it is that a gentleman called Ian Anderson, who was the creator and lead singer indeed of the group Jethro Tull, lives in this village. I don't know where, but I have noticed lots of big country houses around, so you could kind of take your pick as to where he might live here in this village of Minty in Wiltshire. So before I tell you more about this lovely village here in Wiltshire, I'll just tell you about what's been happening on my channel. And one of the videos that I probably really enjoyed doing was the trip to Clifton. I found that a lovely journey down on the train. Well, I had to change at Bristol Temple Meads, got the train into Clifton down. Now, as you know, I don't normally do cities or bigger towns on my channel because I find people overwhelming because of my autism, which I'll be talking more about later on in this vlog a bit anyway. And but Clifton has got had special memories for me, not least because of the cathedral, and I mentioned that in the video. So you haven't had a look at that one, have a look at that now. And also because my dad took me to see the suspension bridge. It was a great day. I think we went to the suspension bridge. That was the first time I'd seen it. I was probably only about seven years old at the time, and seeing that bridge for the first time when you're 7 is quite something. It's quite an amazing sight to see that fantastic suspension bridge stretched out across the Avon Gorge, and I thought it was just absolutely mind-blowing. I then remember going on to see to the cinema afterwards. I think the actual film was Digby. Sorry, I had to cut it. There was somebody going past on a bike. Yeah, I think the actual film was Digby, the biggest dog in the world. Obscure children's film now, but it seemed entertaining enough at the time. But yeah, it was a great day. So I enjoyed going back to Clifton to kind of rekindling old childhood memories. But it wasn't just that, it was the atmosphere there. As I say, I don't normally do busier places, but the fact that Clifton has got these tremendous open squares and gardens, and of course you've got Clifton Down as well. There's plenty of spaces to escape any kind of crowds. I probably wouldn't want to go to it this month now that we're in December, and obviously there's a lot more people out doing Christmas shopping, aren't they, at the moment, and it'd be a lot more intense there. But I went midweek and it was really pleasant. So first of all, if you've not seen that video at Clifton, please give that one a watch. It was mainly a photographic journey, so there's a lot of photography in it, obviously of the bridge, but also around Clifton Village as well, which obviously, you know, my usual style, I set that to music. But yeah, if you haven't been to Clifton, I highly recommend a visit there when you can. So what else has been happening on my channel? Well, I think it was the very same day. It was quite a strange thing. As I put up my last vlog, my November vlog, I think I published on the very same day A Tale of Two Cities, and that were of course the two spa towns. Not A Tale of Two Cities at all, A Tale of Two Spa Towns. That sounds like Charles Dickens. I'm sure that's a Charles Dickens book, as you know. But yeah, I enjoyed doing that one as well. Sorry, I changed my arm, my arm's aching. I enjoyed doing that. I don't think it had been done before as a video, as I could see on YouTube, somebody comparing two Regency spa towns. I'm not going to say which one I like the best. I'll leave that for you to decide. I enjoyed going around both of them. I've only been to, I'm probably more familiar with Cheltenham, as you know, because I've come from Gloucestershire. I had been to Leamington before, but I say quite a while ago. Obviously there's been changes to both those towns, but there's still a lot of interest in both of those towns, and indeed they still look very, very beautiful. So yeah, that was another video. If you've not seen that one, it's quite a longish video, I think. But what I do, I've mixed the format up. Oh, I'm just looking over there to see, apparently this is called Crossing Lane, so we should be coming up to the row. I'll do a pan around so you can see what the landscape's like. Lovely landscape here on this cold December day. But yeah, have a look at that. So and then it'd be great if you put in the comments which one, if you've either been to one of the other towns, or you know them, or you've watched the video and you think you prefer one over the other. It'd be great to hear from you on that. Yeah, it's just inserted a bit of the landscape there, so I don't know whether this goes down to the road or not. It's called Crossing Lane, so I guess it goes to a level crossing. I get the sense that it's going down in terms of height, so we must be heading towards the village itself, the centre of the village itself. But of course the church, as I said, is at Upper Minty, which is where I started the vlog off. Now, another video that I uploaded towards the end of last month was one called Autumnal Gold, and that wasn't actually a planned video. What happened was I went to see my auntie who lives in Herefordshire, and Herefordshire will actually be a county you'll get to see more of on my channel next year. She lives over there, and I went over there, and we had 2 trips out. And obviously it was the peak, autumnal peak, although it is quite late this year, as I have said a couple of times now. We went to do photography around the Forest of Dean, and she also is keen on photography. And we took photographs there, we're just taking various different shots. And the next day we went down to Ross-on-Wye and took some photographs. I shot a few video clips as well. So when I came back, I thought, maybe I could use some of these photographs to put it together with music. Perhaps I've got enough content here, and so that video came to be. I think it's only something like 6 minutes long, but I hope what I was trying to do was give an atmosphere, a flavour of autumn in this part of the world, and I hope that it does that job. So if you haven't just got a few minutes, grab a cup of tea and watch Autumnal Gold. It's been quite well received by some of my subscribers, at least in the comments section there. I'd love to, if you haven't yet seen that one, I'd love to know what you think. Have a look at that. It's only a few minutes long, but it'd be great to know what you think of Autumnal Gold. So I've just come across the level crossing, and I think that's where the former Minty railway station was sited. So we're at the lower part now. I'm just seeing a National Grid substation, a huge one here, and you're probably thinking, why is that relevant, and why does Minty have, sorry, just a bit of flare there from the sun, why does Minty have such a large substation? Well, it's not because of the size of the village, because I think the population of the village across both Lower Minty and Upper Minty is, I think it's 1,200, and it's spread out over quite a wider area, as you can probably gather from the footage behind me. Is the fact in the summer, Europe's largest battery power station was set up here at Minty. That's one of the reasons I thought I'd come to this location. I thought I'd like to have interesting things about the places I come to. Yeah, so I'll insert a photograph of that now. I think it's something like 1,000 kilowatts of storage. It's a lot of batteries, a lot of AA batteries. No, it's not AA batteries, very high-tech devices. And of course the reason for that, of course, we're using more solar and wind power, and obviously that's coming into the national grid during the summer months is high, but of course our consumption during the summer is low. So just a vehicle going past. And of course the reason that we need those is that we need to have some backup capacity in the winter months when there's obviously a lot less slower, and obviously days like today when it's still, there isn't much wind power. So it stores it in the batteries, and then of course when there's demand, like obviously when it's really cold on dull days, it can then put that power back into the national grid. But yeah, it's the biggest one here at Minty. I wouldn't be able to go and film it. Yeah, so we've got a big substation there behind me, big reserves of power here, and it's obviously really important as we use more renewables that we have these battery backups supplying the national grid to give us backup when input into the grid's low and output is high. I expect Tom Scott will be coming along to do a video about it soon. If not, he's already done it. It's the kind of thing that he would do. Hi Tom. But yeah, but I hadn't seen much on it actually, and it was only because I was doing research about this village that I stumbled upon it. I hadn't seen much about it at the time, but yeah, interesting nonetheless. So what else happened on my channel then you may not have seen? Now, one that hasn't had that many views, but I thought it was interesting. I was considering whether to doing another one, but because interest remains fairly low, I don't think I will. It was 3 lost villages in the Cotswolds, and that was on out Winchcombe Way, just the other side of which I chose 3 villages. Well, I love looking at maps, as I say in the video, and I come across these 3 locations where you can actually see remains marked on the map of where there were medieval villages. And so what the video does is it sets out to explore these villages, and to see what remains are left. And I thought it was interesting. Perhaps other people it doesn't interest them, abandoned villages. I mean, it's not like an amazing amount that you can see on the ground, but I think you can see enough from the indentations on the ground to make out that there were indeed villages there. Videos that I did on my channel throughout November and just landing into early December were on 2 themes which recurs on my channel, namely railways and canals. I did an update one on the Stroudwater Canal. I did one back in the summer, a main one, just to show you the Stroudwater Canal, and obviously the plans that they've got to link it up to the canal network. Once more, ambitious plans. And then I gave you an update towards the end of November. That's one of the videos. I think it's called Stroudwater Update number 1. Not very imaginatively titled, I agree. But yeah, it's just showing you the new bridge that's going in underneath the railway, and in fact over Christmas they're closing that, and I will be down there either Christmas Day or Boxing Day, depending on the weather and that kind of thing, just to get out and get some photographs of that. And then I'll at some point in the new year I'll do an update video just to show you that section there, which will hopefully have been reopened to an hour and thereabouts to get through. It won't be all done there. There's still some more work to do underneath the M5, of course, and there's a mile stretch they're called the lost section, or the abandoned section, where there's no canal at all. And it has to be completely dug out. But yeah, so that video shows you about that if you've not seen that one. And my railway one, which seems to be doing really, really well. In fact, my most viewed, well, for some time it was the one I did on Brixham when I was living down in South Devon. I did 3 videos, I think, on Brixham, and there's one there which had been my top video by number of views by some margin for some time, and last month it got overtaken by a short video, 10-minute long video I did about Oakhampton Station, just showing the improvements that were going on there at the time back in the summer. And of course, when it reopened, I had to go back to do a revisit to show you what it's like now. And it was a great day. I went with my daughter just 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and we caught the train from Oakhampton down into Exeter. Fabulous day, great. So if you haven't already seen that one, it is doing quite well on my channel. It seems to be notching up, and obviously it's linked to the first one I did, and that attracted a lot of press attention at the time when that reopened. And hopefully there'll be some more station reopenings. And I think there's one opening in Bristol. There's the next one. It's called Portway, and may go look at that next year. It's not as exciting as Oakhampton. It's not as beautiful being Oakhampton being on Dartmoor. Of course, I did another one on Dartmoor at Dunsford. If you've not seen that, just a short video exploring the beautiful village there of Dunsford. So I'm going to head back to find a seat now so I can tell you a little bit more about this village of Minty here in Wiltshire. Now, I was doing the walking bit just now down towards the railway level crossing. I forgot to mention that part of Minty is called Brandier, B-R-A-N-D-I-E-R, and they had actually found some Roman pottery in that area. I'm not sure where it was put, but there were actually some Roman kilns there as well, and the reason that was significant is because the pottery was made here at Minty. In fact, it certainly wasn't called Minty then. I don't know what the Romans called this settlement. And they were used to supply the large Roman settlement at Corinium, which is only perhaps about 8 or 10 miles away from here in Gloucestershire. They didn't have the county borders then in Roman times either, so Wiltshire and Gloucestershire would have meant anything to them. But obviously, Corinium, which we will look at in more detail at some point, current day Cirencester, was a very, very important Roman settlement, and of course it lies, and still does, on a network of Roman roads, the most significant being the Fossway, also the Ermine Way, and if you look at a map of Cirencester you'll see it's just like a spider's web of roads all crossing it and meeting at that very point. Probably the most significant people to come from Minty as far as America is concerned, and you're thinking, oh, what's the connection there? Sorry, I'll have to refer to my notes because I can't remember all the names. It's a gentleman called Captain Giles Penn, who was a merchant venturer later out of the port of Bristol, some 35 miles, 40 miles maybe from here, and his wife Jeanne Gilbert. Now, they were the grandparents of one William Penn, who founded the now current state of Pennsylvania. In fact, obviously, B-E-N-N, his surname, is obviously the first 4 letters of the state's name. Now, William Penn was a Quaker. He was also a writer and a very religious man, but also he was very open in his beliefs, so he wasn't like aggressive to anybody else that had alternative to beliefs. He was an early advocate of democracy and religious freedom. Under William Penn's direction, the city of Philadelphia was designed, and he designed the actual grid lines. I've not been to Philadelphia, but I know I've got a couple of viewers over in America. Hi, Jay. And they do that grid system. And obviously, if you go to London, if you're not familiar with London every time, it's a very, very confusing layout, because obviously it's been built over, you've obviously had the Roman times, the Norman times, medieval London, and it's a hodgepodge of different streets that crisscross all each other, and some are curved. Obviously it's a nightmare for taxi drivers and people trying to find their way around. Well, he wanted to make it easy for people to get around his new city of Philadelphia. So it was designed on a grid line system, and of course other cities in America later adopted that idea. In fact, Pennsylvania, the first part of course is from his surname. It actually means Penn's Woods. So obviously there was woodlands around in Pennsylvania, and of course that's how he come to name that state. Now, before I tell you what's coming up on my channel, some important announcements. First of which, I want to wish you all of my followers, my viewers and my subscribers and people that support me wherever you may be across the entire globe, and you certainly do live all over the globe. I just want to thank you very, very much, because you really supported me. I've had some difficult days. We were all going through very, very difficult times, as you know, amongst a pandemic, but I struggle with my mental health, and I'll be talking about that more in a bit, about my book that's coming out. But yeah, I do get really, really down and dark days, and you think, oh, is it worth continuing with YouTube? And it's thanks to people that regularly contribute comments to my on my channel, which keep me going. The most important thing is I enjoy it. I don't really, I mentioned this before, I don't really care how many subscribers I have. It's not about a numbers game for me. I just want to make the most interesting, or that I feel that are interesting videos to people, and hopefully other people might find them interesting as well. And I want to make them as best that I can do within my technical budget and technical know-how. And obviously, as I've been doing the YouTube journey, I've been learning more and more about the techniques of video, and particularly editing, which I'd not actually never done any editing before I started this channel back in February. So it's been a big learning curve. But there's been days you think, I've got to go out and make another video. The weather's not very well, I don't feel very well, and it's because of those comments of support which keep me going. So in particular, this is I want to mention that these people that have really kept me going this year, and I'd like to thank all of you. There's so many to mention, but those people really, really stand out in the comments, and those are Roy Edwards from the channel Roy Edwards. If you've not checked out Roy's channel, please check his channel out. Roy comments, I think, virtually on every video that I release. How he's got time to do that, because he virtually releases a video every single day, which is a phenomenal commitment, and he's now coming up to 1,000 subscribers. So hi Roy, thank you very much, and I really, really appreciate your support. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much for supporting me through this year. My first year, what's been my first year of my YouTube journey. Another lady I mentioned before is a lady called Debs. She has her own channel. I'll put that Deb's Most Excellent Adventures. Again, I'll put links to all these channels in the description of the video. Hi Debs, thank you very much for supporting me as well. And Debs puts up videos mainly around South Devon, but she also travels further afield as well. But really, really interesting travel type, looking at kind of places that I go to, country type places. It's a really interesting channel. I really appreciate your help with supporting me. Debs means a lot. Another gentleman called Jay runs a channel in America called What's That Guy Doing? Now he lives in Plymouth. Ooh, this bench is a bit tilty. In Plymouth in Massachusetts. Again, Jay, thank you very much for your support. It really means a lot. His channel's now really starting to take off, so check out his channel as well. Thank Ted and Carol Collins, and they run a channel linked to another gentleman I'm going to mention shortly, and he does lives locally not far from me, and has been supporting my channel and giving me additional memories of things that I've done videos about. So I really, really, really appreciate that. So thank you very much, Ted. Another gentleman runs a channel called Parkinson's Walks. Now, Parkinson's Walks has been going, I think, about 4 years now. A gentleman called Ron. Hi, Ron. And he does some excellent videos, particularly about railways in the Gloucestershire area, discovering closed railways and what remains of those. He also does walks in the countryside. Ron has... he doesn't mind me mentioning this, that's why it's called Parkinson's Walks. He has Parkinson's, but it's a very, I find his channel very motivational, because despite having Parkinson's, he still gets out to overcome it by going for walks. Not that dissimilar, I guess, with me, in terms of, although it's a difficult disability in terms of mental health and autism, but I'm getting out doing walk to help benefit my health as well. But I've found, I've been watching Ron's channel for quite a few years now, found him very, very interesting, and he does support me. So hi Ron, and thank you for your support. Another channel that supports me is Stephen&Yhana. Now they live, I think it's over in Essex, and they mainly do videos about uncovering the past, looking for things in the ground, what you can find in terms of like flint stones, old material, lots of discovering things like that. It's not actually a detectorists type channel. There are quite a few of those, but theirs give you more information on the background of the history, and also they've also done some brilliant videos where they recreate or retell a story from the past about particular individuals, say for example from a village. So that's over in East Anglia. They support my channel as well, so hi Stephen&Yhana, really appreciate your support this year. I apologise if I've missed anybody out because I wanted to check on my phone, but unfortunately I don't seem to have any signal here, so I can't go back into YouTube to check. So if you have contributed to my channel and supported me, I do really appreciate it, and thank you very much. And I do apologise for missing because there are other people as well, and obviously I can't list every single person that's commented, but thank you all very much. At this point also, it's December vlog, so it'd be rather remiss of me not to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And again, thank you for supporting my channel this year. I hope you have a brilliant Christmas. I won't be putting up quite so many videos over the next couple of weeks. I am going to do a Christmas one, so this isn't my Christmassy one, although I am mentioning about Christmas now, so hope you all have a brilliant time. I'm hoping to go to Pershore Abbey, probably do the Christmas lights there, so I'll probably do that over the next couple of days, weather permitting, so that hopefully will be landing on my channel before Christmas. Well, it won't be before Christmas, maybe within the next few days. In terms of what also is coming up, I've got another video on Woodchester which will land probably a few hours after this one does. It's already uploaded, I've already done it, it's already uploaded, ready to go, but I'll publish it after this one launches. So that Woodchester is a village just outside of Stroud, not that far from where I live, and it's a beautiful Cotswold village. Lots to tell you. I won't say any more about it. I'll let you watch it and let me know what you think. But I found loads of really interesting things. Some I did know, some I didn't know until I was actually on the ground filming. So please let me know what you think about that. In terms of other videos coming up, I've got one on Tinsfield. Tinsfield is a National Trust property just about 7 miles outside of Bristol. It's the south side of Bristol. In fact, I popped in there when I was driving back from Devon the other day, nipped in there. Be a photographic montage taking you around Tinsfield and the beautiful grounds that surround it, so that's coming up on my channel soon as well. There'll also be one more walking one, but hopefully that'll be before, because it depends on the weather. Of course, obviously walking is more tricky this time of year, not least because of the finding a dry day, but also because the terrain is very wet and boggy. But I may be able to fit in Salisbury Hill if we're lucky, fingers crossed, hopefully. But hopefully there'll be a walking one landing before Christmas as well. I'm just going to read to you a little bit from my book, which comes out on the 21st of December. I would say my book. It's not actually. It's a collection of 10 essays of which I've contributed one of those essays. It's been compiled by a lady called Mare Elliott. I'll insert a title, what the title looks like, and I'll also put in a link if you wish to purchase the book. Try and don't use Amazon. Best go to your local bookseller, or somewhere like Waterstone's better than Amazon. I won't go down that road now. But I just wanted to read from you one of the paragraphs I've done from the essay, and it's on the subject of time. Time is a major issue for me. I find it takes me longer to get ready to go out than the so-called average person, as I have to plan everything to the finest detail, and manual things, due to my poor dexterity, can considerably slow me down. As we live in a majorly neurotypical world, the clock seems to be permanently set against us, and time measurement tends to be in the negative. Time is the greatest thing that I find difficult to battle against, be it work target or life milestones. It's always in the adverse. Most time targets seem superficial to me, but despite myself telling me this, it seems to make a scant difference to my anxious state. Apart from planning and managing my time as best I can, and numerous time management courses over the years, I still find this part of my life a significant difficulty and troubling. I do not have an easy answer for this part of my life, except to say, as I get older, I tend to care less about it, with all the ramifications of that, and I tend to just accept things for what they are. Now, I actually wrote that some 18 months ago now, when I was working in a supermarket and living in South Devon. As you know, I've now moved to Gloucestershire. And what I would like to mention about time, and I stand by everything I wrote in there, and I still find things to do with anything to do with time and targets, anything like that, extremely difficult to deal with. And it's one of the reasons I enjoy YouTube, because I'm my own master in terms of when I stick videos up, where I go, how long I spend on editing. If I had someone over me with a cosh saying you've got to get that video up by a certain date, I'd hate it, and it would just bring me out in another anxious cycle. The reason I thought it'd be worth mentioning that particular paragraph from the essay is because of Christmas. Sorry, there's a plane jet going overhead. As we go through Christmas, it can be a very busy, stressful period. And obviously there's the presents to get, the presents to wrap out, the cards to get off. There's perhaps you're doing more time at work because there's more things to do with work. I certainly come across that. Working in retail, there's all the food shopping to get in, organising people coming to visit, if you've got people around on Christmas Day. That really takes away from the true message of Christmas, and I'm not about to go down a religious angle here in terms of that, and obviously everybody has their own beliefs around Christmas, but I still maintain it is a very special time of the year spiritually, and I think we should take time within the Christmas period, the green Christmas rush, to take time for ourselves. I've actually done some of that today, although I've come here and I've spent time doing photography and indeed doing filming in this churchyard. I've also had some moments to myself to reflect on the landscape, reflect on the weather, to reflect on how lucky I am in terms of my physical health and the situation I'm in at the moment, and a lot of people can't actually say that. So I do feel very fortunate in that regard, and I'm trying to not get caught up in that whole commercial side of Christmas, which I think can be quite detrimental to ourselves and our well-being. So have a think about that. Just step away from that constant treadmill of Christmas if you can. Just take time to have a breather. Come out to somewhere quiet. Just do some mindfulness. I know some people do yoga, do breathing exercises. You'll find it really beneficial. Above all, go for a walk if you can in the country. I know a lot of people think of walking as something you do when the weather's nice. You can also do it on a really cold, dull day. It doesn't matter. Just wrap up warm. Maybe stick some nice music in your ears as well as you walk along. It really doesn't matter, but take time for yourself and just step away from the madness that is the outside world. I hope you enjoyed my December vlog. There'll be another vlog again in next year, in 2022, probably around the middle of January. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Above all, have a very happy and Merry Christmas, and much love to yourselves watching me, my subscribers, my viewers, and all of your families as well. I extend that to you, and hope to see you again. Obviously, I've got a few more videos coming up before the end of the year, and into the new year I've got lots of new projects lined up for 2022, of which I'll tell you more about in January. Until then, take care of yourselves. All the best. Merry Christmas. Cheers. Goodbye.